This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, but no girls volleyball team from Richland has ever won subsection.
Really?
So
Well,
this might be the
Does
year
that
to do it.
start tomorrow night too?
Thursday.
like I said, depends on which team shows up.
Mentally, which one shows up?
All right, you are good to go whenever you are ready.
Okay, will call the meeting to order of the City of New Richland, October 24th, 2022. Everyone is here except Jason is absent, and we'll stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first off, we have approved the agenda as presented.
Madam Mayor, got one change for me, and that is to strike number 4 from the consent agenda. We'll only be addressing the one something after the roof on Bruce Meyer's building.
I'd like to add a discussion item on the ambulance director's salary. I guess under new business.
Business. Move to approve the agenda with the 2 changes.
Second.
Motion by Lauren, seconded by Chad to approve the agenda with the 2 changes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We have the consent agenda items of the minutes of the meeting, the September financials, and a fix-up grant. I don't think I have anything about the fix-up grants. Do you?
It should have been in the packet.
Let me see.
I didn't see it.
It wasn't, I can pull it up here for you.
It's in the back.
Is it?
It's possible it didn't make it into the packet. It's very possible.
It's not in mine.
Okay, I apologize. So the fix-it grant is for the roof of the Richland Farm and Home. And mortar repair around the top. Basically, they put a whole new spray foam roof on top, fix some of the stuff that was falling off there. So he's made a payment already of $19,264.29 and is asking for the reimbursement of the up to a third of the cost, which would be $5,000. And that has been approved by the DDA.
Okay.
I move to approve the grant of $5,000.
Well, it's a consent agenda item.
Oh,
So we just approve them all at once.
Mhm.
I have a question on the financials.
Then pull it off to
Yeah.
unfinished business.
Okay, then all we have left is the grant and the minutes of the last meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Lauren, seconded by Chad to approve the consent agenda items, number 1 and number 3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We jump down to classification and compensation study report. Is he going to be here?
Mark is here.
Oh, there he
He's
is.
gonna be on
Hi.
the.
You're in the air.
Where? I don't see any.
I'm trying to share my screen, and unfortunately, I'm not able to do so.
Uh-oh.
Let me see if I can fix that for you.
Hey, there's a cat behind you.
There is, yes.
Where's that?
Where?
In the chair behind you.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
jeez. You have good eyesight.
Okay, Mark, I made you a presenter. You should be able to share now, I hope.
Yes, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me here virtually. I'm Mark Goldberg here representing DDA. Just want to go through the results of the study that we conducted and see what questions you have. So talk a little bit about who we are, what we're trying to do with this, and then kind of what we found. So I think you remember from when I came out to present before, but DDA's been doing this for a long time, over 20 years. Our background at first was in regards to finance. And then about 6-7 years ago, our clients kept coming to us and saying, hey, can you help out with HR stuff? And that's when the class and comp group got started. I joined at this point now 2 years ago. And my background is over 25 years doing this class and comp stuff, about half of that within the public sector. So, I can answer, I've been doing this for a long time and have seen pretty much everything. So what we're trying to do, the goal behind this was to give you a class and comp system that makes sense. One that is internally aligned and externally competitive. Make sure that everyone meets FLSA guidelines and give you something that's easy to understand and you can administer. Not here to do staffing or to reduce people's pay or cut positions. We're not here to say, oh, everyone gets a 5% increase either. It's, okay, let's take a look and see what the data shows and where we can align you best against the market. So one of the key questions was, I'm sorry.
I have a question. Maybe I'm
Yes, ma'am.
jumping ahead, but when you DDA gathered data from the following organizations, can you
Yep.
explain why you only have one employee for government and one employee for streets? For New
One
Richmond?
employee- I'm sorry, what do you mean one employee for government and one employee for streets? These were the positions.
Well, I'm assuming you're talking about positions because then you're saying 2 in the police department.
It's on the bottom of page 8.
Oh, so this, honestly, that's old information as far as the government and police and streets and stuff. That's what was reported a number of years ago. What we're looking at primarily was, who do we want to gather, who do we want to use to gather information? And this was the group that we thought, from talking with Tony, was the best group to gather, to use as comparisons. Were there places that you thought shouldn't be included within there, or do you feel that this is a good comparison group for the city?
It was just a similar amount of people working in a certain department, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mayor, do you feel that, well, we can just kind of talk about this, because one of the things we were really looking at was, who do you compare yourselves against? Who do you gain people, where do you recruit people from? Who do you lose people to? Who are some cities that, or in one case, one county, that really provide the same level of services that you do? So even though there are some larger organizations on there like Caledonia and Janesville, and Waseca also, we wanted to make sure that we were getting people in there. We were taking a look and saying, hey, this makes sense. What I will tell you is when we went through the data pretty carefully. If things looked off, and actually it's kind of one of the things I say in the next one, here's an example. So let's say we found 10 matches for police officer, and 8 of them are between 45 and 50,000, and one of them's at 25,000, one of them's at 90,000. We'll remove those 2 data points from the analysis and put it in what we call a spotlight section. So you'll still see it there, but it's not included in the overall analysis. But you could say to me, Mark, that 90,000, yeah, it's really, really high, but we need to have it in there. Okay, that's fine. We'll just drag it up in there. But all the data really is reviewed carefully. Does that make sense?
No, I guess I'm wondering why we're being compared to Waseca, who has a $4 million higher property tax than we do. And the employees are like, what is that? 47?
It's a lot bigger. But a lot of times we remove the Waseca information, and I can actually show you the data if you really want to go through it. But Waseca was included in there because you're losing people to there, from what I was told. I believe almost all the Waseca information was put in what's called a spotlight area, like I said, so that it was much higher than everything else. So we gathered the information, but we didn't include it in the overall analysis.
Okay.
Okay.
But I can show that to you if you really want to see it. There was, how many rows of data?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're comfortable with everything, honestly. And then when I'm kind of scrolling through this, and I can show you if you really want. But most of the times Waseca was removed. A couple times it wasn't, but most of the times it was. So, okay. So if you see a positive number, it means the city's above market. Negative means it's below market. Generally, if you're within 5%, that's really close. I mean, you could be 4% below or 3.5% above. In both cases, we define that as highly aligned. You go beyond 10%, well, there could be some misalignment there. And that plus or minus 10% is actually not something that I came up with. That's a general rule within kind of the comp community. Because what it says is, as it says here, that's going to encompass everyone who's fully functional in their job. And they're paid at different rates for a lot of different reasons. Could have been performance, could have been some previous experience, could have been some skills, could have been a lot of different things. But plus or minus 10%, again, that could be 9% above or 8% below, is generally considered the market for the job. So, with the structure we're looking to propose, where'd the city come out? And the city comes out about 6% below market on the minimums and about 8% below on the maximums. That is an improvement from where you were when you started. When we gathered the information, you were about 8% below on the minimums and was it 13 or 17? Hold on a second, I'm trying to remember right now. 17% below the market on the maximums. So we moved you a fair amount, especially on those maximums. The minimums we brought up a little bit. And what the actual data shows is right here. So this is kind of a summary of all of the details on all the market information. So first shows title, then, hey, where are you guys right now? Where are you paying right now? And then the benchmark information. And that's an average of the data that we gathered from the market. So, for example, the $19 for the assistant city clerk. The data points that we gathered for it, we took an average of that, all that information. We have to have at least 5 data points on the job before we can say, yep, we feel good about saying what the market is for this job. So it's aggregating that information for the minimums, the maximums, and the average. As you can see, you guys were at 8% below and 17% below. And the structure, I'm going to show you the structure in just a minute. And what we're moving you to is about 6% below on the minimums and 8% below on the maximums. And I'm going to show you what the cost implications are for that. But I'm going to be quiet for a second and see if you have any questions around this stuff.
You said the benchmark is the average from the data you got?
Yep.
Okay. And the last columns, new bench, minimum and max, are those the ones we should really be comparing to?
That's what we're saying we want to move you to. So the structure that I'm going to show you in just a minute or so, that's where it's going to place you. So
Okay.
Key fundamental question is, where do you want to be? You were pretty low on those maximums. We got you up to be market competitive. We brought you up on the minimums a little bit. And the cost, I'll get to the cost in just a few minutes, but we did cost all of this out for you to say, hey, what's the cost implications on all this? And Tony and I had a lot of discussion around what can you afford and where do you want to be? And, what can you do this year? What can you maybe do next year? Tony, you want to comment on any of that?
So this is actually remodified a little bit because we came back a little higher on market value, and then the conversation that Mark and I had were that I don't think the council necessarily is looking to be highly competitive at market value or higher than market value, but we need to be in a place where we can either retain the people we have or be able to find a new person when we do. So we brought those minimums down a little bit from where market initially put them, where I think we got to a place where we can make this a successful program. And then one of the other problems Mark said that we had was that the difference between our bottom salary and top salary was it 18% off market or something like that? 18 or 19%?
Yeah, your maximums were 17% below. Were 17% below. So your ranges were really, really small.
Yeah. So the range between the top and bottom were really short instead of moving them out a little bit. So we went and put this together, and I think this gets us to a place where it's amenable to be able to afford it and to get us where we need to be to retain, and if somebody leaves, to recruit, basically. So.
Mark, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
How long does it usually take to say everything stays the same? We're given 4% and 5% raises or no raises or whatever it is. Like 1 to 2 years, do we determine that, or like 2 to 3 years? Because if it takes us that long to get here, then it's almost time to do another study, because all this stuff's going to move again.
I guess
And
I'm
we're
not sure what
gonna
you're
be
asking. Are
further-
you asking for the structure or for employees, sir?
I'm asking for structure, like for how long could the city plan as we do our budgets over the next couple of years to implement increases to catch the positions up?
I think what I'm hearing is you, like, if we, like, let's say we take 2 years to put this into place, then how far do we fall behind? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so basically, once this is in place, and Mark can correct me if I'm wrong, but then basically, as long as you keep up with a somewhat market cost of living increase, that's gonna be fine going forward.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of how soon you put it into play to where you're gonna fall behind.
Okay. And maybe Tony can answer this, but in your analysis of where we are on salary and stuff, is that because the city has primarily always been low, or we haven't given raises to keep up with what's happening in the market, or a combination of those two, or what's happened?
Just from my experience of being in your guys' chairs and then an employee in the
Mhm.
back, I know there's been years where the employees did not get cost of living raises, and I know
Okay.
that there's been times when our cost of living wages have been dramatically lower than
Less.
what the other
Yeah.
agencies get. So I think that's part of the problem, and then it's just, we're small, we don't have a lot of money to do
Yeah,
this.
that's, I mean, from what I read and what I see is like this year, most companies, cities, whomever, are looking at 4 to 5%. The standard 3% is not really being acceptable anymore. I'm not saying in our case or anybody else's case, if 3 is the best we can do, 3 is certainly better than 0. But most places are looking at 4 to 5% increases.
That is correct, sir.
Well, let me-
And that actually aligns with what I was seeing too. But to address your question of how much is this going to change in the next couple of years, before 2022, we had seen pretty consistently structure movements of between 2 and 2.25% for about 12, 13 years. That had been very, very common for a while. So the hope and the expectation is that in 2023, that'll start going back to where it was before. But generally, what we're seeing is organizations doing, cost of living adjustments anywhere from 3.5% to 5.5%. 4 to 5 is very common. I'm sorry, Mayor, you and I started talking at the same time, ma'am. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. The questions I'm asking is just basically for clarity.
Sure.
But on this findings and analysis, when you look down at New Richland's average and you compare it to the bench minimum and maximum, there's really, am I understanding this correctly, that there's really only 4 out of the 7 that we are low on?
I'm for the average.
I think what you're seeing is that there's like 3 or 4 positions that don't fall onto the new pay scale based on what they're getting paid now. So yes, you're correct there.
So when you're talking, if that's true, that there's 3 positions that look like they're kind of right in the middle there where they can be, then it's kind of pointless to just talk about a straight across the board percentage. Shouldn't we be more concerned on getting these other 4 positions into that average area?
I guess the question, Mayor, is where do you want to be? So market again is plus or minus 10%. So that position right here that I kind of have highlighted, the maintenance worker, that's pretty low. And I can show you kind of where that is in the salary range that we're proposing. The maintenance lead.
Yep, I have that one as marked low. I have the police officer low. maintenance lead, and police chief. Those 4 I have marked as low. Anybody else?
Well,
I agree.
police officer is 8% below. That is still market competitive. Cops are not something
Okay.
you generally want to be that low on, but and Tony and I had some discussion around this. Like, where do you want to be with these guys? Police chief, you're at 6% below on the minimum and 7% on the maximums. Those can be played with.
Okay.
I mean, we can make those adjustments and tell you, here's what the cost is going to be for some of that. But it's a question of what do you want the cost implications to be. I'm going to skip forward here because let's just go to what the structure is. So this is what the structure looks like, starting at 16, going all the way up to 53. It's a 9-grade structure, which makes sense kind of for you guys. The cost of this, using this structure, would be about $11,000 just to bring people into the salary range. Overall cost impact is going to be like $21,000. If you wanted to make adjustments to the police officers or to the police chief, that can easily be done, and we can play with things to kind of see what it would look like, but that's going to increase this cost here. So the key question is, what are you willing to pay? Because I can get you to wherever you want.
Mhm.
And it's not a question you need
can
to
you-
answer now, but it's something to think about.
Is this proposed salary structure, is that what our pay equity scale would look like when we're done?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, it
Okay.
is.
Can you tell us who's on which grade here? I mean, you
Yeah.
can look at this,
Positions, you mean?
yeah,
You know what? I'm going to
where
share my
they
screen.
fall, because if you look at what we are paying, it's not like you can look at the scale and see that's where they belong. You know what I'm getting at?
I do. I'm going to show you all the details behind this because this is the spreadsheet that we were working on. Can you guys see this?
Yeah,
Okay. So
I can
this
see
is
the
the scale.
colors.
So if you want to get into the real details on this, here's where everybody comes out. So the care center administrators 9, city admins 8, police chief 7, police officers 5. So if you wanted to say, we want to have that police officer and police chief more aggressive, we can make changes, and I can do it in a second within this cost implementation page, and it'll show you here's what this would look like. So that police officer is at
We don't have that.
grade 5. If we want to increase the difference, say, what is the difference from grade 4 to grade 5? That minimum, maximum, where does that come out at? I could change that from 111% to 114 or 15%. And that would put the police officers as well as the police chief more aggressively. And you can see what the cost would look like instantly with this. You tell me what's the best use of your time. How would you like to, what do you want to see with this?
Mark and I did go through the positions, and if you want to go back to that page, Mark, that has the CC.
The job
and
scores?
All the different, yeah. Then I can kind of just explain, or we can kind of just explain that.
We don't have that page, do we?
No,
No, but I have this document, and I can give it to you if you need it, but here's, yeah, there we go. So see how we got the conditions, the CC2, the CB2, the CC3.
Yeah,
all
these
that
are
kind of
all,
stuff.
this is how we
That
evaluate the
directly
job.
relates to, yeah, it's how much administrative stuff they do versus how much supervisory versus how much standing, walking, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And we did together go through all these positions and go through and make sure that they aligned up with what they had. In fact, a couple positions did move and drop down to where we thought they needed to fall into place. So everything's been thought of fairly well, I believe. And I think that this scale, as he's presenting it to you, I think makes the most sense. I think where the police department is at on this scale right now is, for our size community, competitive enough that we're not going to have trouble retaining police officers at that rate. I don't think we have the ability to push anything much higher than that, where we're sitting. So.
Does the ambulance director belong in there?
It was just part of a conversation piece, and so that's the way it was.
That's not going to be on our pay equity though?
Not if it's a part-time position, no.
Right. Okay.
No, and then just to put it in perspective for you, Bob's position, falls right in this range with the newly appointed scale. So it actually works out perfect that everybody would be where they need to be.
At the range where we're at.
Yes.
And Mayor, you can see both Waseca and Caledonia, we did move all of that to the spotlight. So the data is there just for reference purposes, but it's not included in the overall analysis for either of those cities.
It was just basically put there so that you can, because we've lost tons of people to Waseca. Well, not tons. We've lost 2 people really recently to Waseca. But it is fair to just show people why they're potentially.
Why people go.
So.
So in your opinion, we are fine where we're at? We just need to figure out a percentage to get us? I guess I'm blocking that idea because it looks like we're low on some positions and not on others.
So basically, and Mark, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically the amount of money that needs to be invested into this is basically bringing those positions that are not within that structure into the structure.
The 4 positions.
Right. I mean, yes, the other positions are also probably gonna get a little increase because they have to go to the next step. There.
Bart, please stop it.
But, yes, but that's correct. That's the point, is that the police department may see an 8% increase on their salaries, but everybody else may only see like a 0.5% or 1% to bring them into the scale.
Okay. And is that where the $11,000 you talked about
Yes.
versus the 21,000? 11,000 would get us
Halfway.
yeah, for those 4 positions to start with. I mean, that.
And let me show you who those are. So we've got these positions are below the minimum right now. So 2 police officers, police chief, and the maintenance worker are below.
That's what I have, but I also have a maintenance lead.
That's not below the minimum though, ma'am. That maintenance lead is would we put it at grade 4, and they'd be within the salary range. They'd actually be at step 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Oh no, 8 actually.
Yeah. It looks, according to this findings and analysis, it looks low to me.
Okay, but the maintenance lead is low. That's the structure itself. The actual pay of the people is a little bit is okay. So the structure is lower than what you'd probably like it to be. And if we wanted to move that grade up, if we wanted to move that range up, we can do that. But that will have a cost impact kind of throughout. So if we wanted to change the range of that from 1940, let's say if you wanted to get that up a little bit higher, I can show you where we can do that and how we can do that. We would change that right here. So right now, from a grade 3 to grade 4, there's a 10% difference. We could change that to 12 or 13.
Maintenance lead is on what grade?
Grade 4, ma'am.
Okay.
But I think what maybe we should do is, if you guys have any more little questions to ask Mark that he can explain to you, and then I can actually shoot you this document that you can digest over the next couple weeks, and then we can make a decision at the next meeting. Because it's a lot of information, and it is a lot of.
Do we want to think about this before we submit the final budget?
Well, yeah, we'll have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't submit the final budget until our meeting in December.
Okay.
So we got a little bit.
And when Tony sends this to you, if you want to play with this, where you want to kind of make adjustments is on this cost implementation page. So if you said, hey, I want to change that from 110 to 112, you make the change right here, everything will flow through the entire document. If you wanted to change, well, what if we were to give a 4% step increase from step 1 to step 2? Okay, make that change right here, and everything will go through the entire document. So this is where, you want to kind of do this stuff.
Anybody have any other questions for Mark?
No, I don't.
No,
Does
thank
this
you.
make sense?
Thanks, Mark. I'll be in touch tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so much, Tony.
Yep.
It was helpful, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, let me mute this TV for you. All right, you're good to go.
So basically what he's saying, Tony, is we can give 2% raises on the pay equity, like a higher percentage for the ones that are lower.
Yeah,
Well, so basically what's gonna happen is what's gonna happen is we have to bring everybody into equity.
Right?
So, like, since the police department is graded higher and paid less on our current scale, we need to remedy that. You know what I'm saying? The grading is higher, but they're actually getting paid less than where the range says they should. So basically, the money will be put into the system to bring everybody onto the range. So
Okay, how does that fit in with the statement you made earlier about we're okay with the police officers, we can.
based on this as he's presented it to us. Because he
Those
said
numbers.
we're still 8% or whatever.
Yep.
I feel that's an acceptable place for us to be
Oh,
on this new scale. We could go up higher if that's what the council chooses to do so. I don't think that's a logical step or a cost-effective step or for the best of the city of New Richland to try to do that. I think this gets us into compliance with equity. This gets us into a step. You've seen the past mess.
the pay equity needs to be
Yeah.
fixed.
So this fixes that problem. This gets everybody onto the steps. It gives a solid representation of where the people are getting paid. And then the only thing the council has to worry about from here on forward, basically, is those cost of living ranges, which would
And,
move the stuff up and down.
okay, something for everybody to think about. If you all agree that we want to adjust that by 11,000, then the question to Tony is where are we gonna find that in the budget?
I believe I already have it offset.
Okay, and with that offset, are we still going to be able to cut that percentage? levy?
Don't put me on record, please, media people that are here. But from what I have done with Eric and I have a plan on some capital stuff that we're gonna be able to push off and I can remove out of this year's budget. And with those items and a few of the other things that I've restructured and moved around, I'm believing we can be in the 5 to 6 range.
Even after this increase?
With implementing this.
That's what I would really like to see.
No, we can't go much lower than that. I mean,
Right.
I mean, to be completely honest with you and everybody else in the city of New Richland, I think 5 to 6 is where we're gonna have to be just to write last year's ship and a few other things that have happened.
Okay, well, that's what I wanted everybody to think about. If we do this, can we still cut that percentage?
Yeah, we're not gonna do this if we have to forego something that is important.
Okay.
No, that's not gonna
All right,
And Tony, does this have any effect with the negotiations with the?
happen. It will,
With
it
the,
ultimately will.
with the union?
Yep, it ultimately will, but I think that, if I remember correctly, it's like a 5 or 7% increase in the police department, so I can't see the union saying we have to have a problem with that.
Yeah, we wouldn't think so.
Yeah, so I don't foresee that being an issue.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
But yes, ultimately it could.
Okay.
But it shouldn't.
all right. Then we'll move on to the department reports, care center. Sorry we kept you waiting.
Oh, quite all right.
Everybody, this is Bob, who haven't met Bob, this is our new
Yeah.
care center
Welcome, Bob,
administrator.
welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to see
Welcome.
you.
Care center report, I can happily say our census is 38 today with 6 on Medicare, which is fantastic numbers for a small community. Our operating statements, we had a $20,000 improvement over the month before. It's still not pretty, but
No, but it's better.
we're making improvements. We do have several opportunities to improve in relation to staffing. We've got some new staffing opportunities that we're kind of working on out there. And also some training opportunities, I think, that would benefit not only the ability to take us or improve our census and our relationship with local physicians, but it also improve our staff, because they would take more pride in it. We are going to apply for the Quality Improvement Initiative program this week. It was due 1st of October, but we sweet talked them and they're going to give us another week to complete it. And I think with that, there is the potential for $3.50 per resident day improvement in 2024, once we succeed in 23. So looking forward to that.
Why don't you just tell them how much money that is? So it's kind of
Roughly $50,000
yeah.
in a year. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that's a nice chunk of money to get.
Yes, sir, it is. We just completed our annual survey and our plan of corrections. It was rejected at first. We made some language changes in it, confirmed with the nursing department and maintenance that those things had been done. It's just a matter of how you worded things, and went through like really well. So I think that's going to be, that'll be fine. And infection control being a big thing, obviously. I just hate to say it, but Monday we went mask free.
You did.
Yes. And we'll hope it stays that way for a while.
Every other place would.
But the holidays are coming up. We did have discussion about, and we're going to do more discussion about Halloween tomorrow.
I was just going to ask you
With
that
the kids
question.
coming through.
Yeah.
We don't have the windows that people can sit in front of to observe the kids outside.
Right.
So our thought is to bring them through therapy or the front door and out therapy some way. And then the residents to be able to observe at a distance.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of thinking of that right now. And then we'll rethink Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, those kind of things as we move along. Kind of a moving target, as you might think.
Because of the deadline of Halloween, we might have to have a conversation like early in the morning or even tonight.
It'll be tomorrow, 'cause I've got,
And it's not a decision you're going to be able to make in the next day, right?
I could make it tomorrow. I could make it today, but that's not fair to my team.
Right.
I think we're gonna do it tomorrow morning.
I'll get hold of you in the morning then.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yes, I'm looking at the,
Yes, sir.
your reasons for you declined your referrals.
Yes.
And this is nice because it's the first time I've ever seen this kind of information.
Yeah.
You have 5 listed for obesity, which means if somebody like me, you wouldn't be able to,
I'm gonna apologize right now.
how,
That's wrong. I gave you the wrong one. That was last month. I had changed the financials and the staffing, but I did not change the September one. Oh. Or that,
but still,
yeah.
again, this is the first time I'm seeing reasons why, you,
Right.
of all the referrals, none of them were accepted.
Yep.
Humana, is that a bad insurance or?
Humana is a wonderful insurance plan for you right now. They'll take care of your medical, your eyes, your pharmacy.
But if I were to go
all
down
that
the
stuff.
street, it wouldn't be.
You go down the street and all of a sudden Humana puts the clamps on. It's difficult to get in. And then once they let you in, it's difficult to get payment. And then 6 months down the road, well, we were reviewing this. Could you send us some information? And all of a sudden you're sending them the Gutenberg Bible on Jody. And they say, we're not going to accept that. You need to give us our money back.
Okay.
That's all.
We kind of talked about that the last
I
2
don't
weeks ago.
understand how they can do that.
I don't
Yeah,
either.
are they the only ones that can play that?
United Healthcare does.
Do they?
There are others, but Humana
Doesn't
has
seem right.
by far and away been the worst
Hmm.
to work with.
Bend the rules.
So one of the things that we're looking at is, I was talking with Lindsay today, trying to develop or be a part of their contract system so that they can't do it to you quite as bad.
I see.
So instead of taking $20,000 at a crack, maybe it's only a couple thousand.
Are there any changes you could make maybe accept obese, it's for an example, or some of these other,
Is that staffing because of lifting situations and things like that?
No. No, when we say we deny someone because of obesity, it's typically when you get the very obese, and this is greater than 400 pounds.
I see.
You are looking at people that can't move, their knees are bad, their hips are bad, their back is bad, they're very weak,
Labor intensive.
very labor intensive.
Okay.
So one of the things we're looking at doing is ceiling lifts in the rooms.
Right,
That way it will get you out of your bariatric bed, which is bigger. They cost a little more, but out of your bariatric bed into your bariatric wheelchair, or even from your bed all the way to your bariatric toilet, so that you can get those things done if you're bed bound. And then if you are not bed bound and you're still trying to maintain walk or anything like that, then we need a bariatric walker. They do make those, they're fantastic. We're talking the 4-wheel drive walkers. They-
okay.
Giant tires, and these things are awesome. So we're looking at some of that. I wrote on the back of this one after our other meeting, and I was like, oh yeah, bariatric, estimate cost versus the earnings, the depreciation, the census, what kind of tools we need, those type of things. Staff training is also part of that, which all of those companies that sell you those things will train all your staff. And your staff will be certified, so to speak, for bariatric care. They will have that training for the rest of the time that they work there. But if we were able to accept, I think in the last year, it was at least, and there wasn't at least 10 that we declined because of being obese.
Okay.
So that is something that's
Here's what a diet.
very good idea
Yeah.
to look into.
Or you're on the street.
Well, do you know, are there, does the state offer like grants or any kinds of, because the care center doesn't have any of this equipment right now.
That's correct.
So if we wanted to take one or two, could we get that equipment installed or purchase the equipment with some money from the state?
I believe you can. I'm not sure if, I think the educational piece and even the research piece might be done through Leading Age, which
Yeah.
we're members of.
Mhm.
And then to go through, whether it's the state or the counties, maybe, to get
Okay.
the equipment.
Sure.
So I can do more research on that as well.
Or Mayo Clinic or someone.
Yeah,
Mayo.
Mayo's not gonna give you any money.
Okay.
It'd be nice, but they're pretty.
They're begging.
I know, I get something in the mail all the time. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And welcome again.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Chad, seconded by Jody to approve the New Richmond Care Center report. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thanks, Bob.
Yep, thank you.
I'll talk to you in the morning then.
That'd be great.
You get there, buddy.
I get there at 8, we'll meet by 9, so if you call me at 10.
But I'd rather call ahead of time before your meeting, because then you have the information I need to give you.
Oh, yeah,
Okay?
that'd be great.
Okay. People service.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Okay, hauling is done.
Yay.
145,000 gallons.
Is that a
Oh.
lot?
11, oh yeah. It should be 70,000, but I had to replace the plug valve, so I could only have 7 feet in the digester. So 145 went out, 11 and a half acres. Yeah,
Nice.
went very, very well. Thanks for the use of the tractor. It was very nice. A couple of tires might need to get looked at for next year. They held out until the end, so.
Are you talking the trailer?
I'm hauler, yeah. These might need to get looked at, but it held out, so it went well, good weather. What else did I have? I took my sea waste test, passed it,
Yay.
Good job.
got
Congratulations.
that done and over with. And, the electric Straight River is gonna come out, I think, this week for the lights in the prelim building, so I have some lights going on in there. The boiler, Tony tried calling him, but I'll call him back tomorrow, Tony.
Yeah, just tell them to call up here.
Yeah, for the heat. And, November will be coming for the, 2 times a year for they calibrate the influent channel per our permit. So that will be coming in November. They just calibrate to make sure your flow coming in is correct. That's what all your numbers come off of. And same with Minnesota Pump Works. There's 3 lift stations and per our permit, it's 2 times a year. So they'll be coming in. And I don't have to calibrate those. That we just don't need to do that for here because I have treatment plant. So they will pull the pumps and make sure they're good for winter. And December, I'll have the backflow preventer per our permit done. He just goes through it, checks the pressure. So that's all stuff coming up. I really didn't have a lot this last month that I really can remember that was crazy. So thanks for the skidster pulling the pumps in. That was nice. Oh, the generator, the old generator. I forgot about Niskins. I've been a little busy, so I kind of forgot. What was the guy's name?
Nick or what's
Do you remember?
Jim.
The old generator.
Jim Miskin?
Jim or Nick?
I will try to remember to get that out of there before winter. The old one,
Right,
it's sitting in the parking lot.
Does it work? I can't remember.
No. It's sitting in the parking lot,
Can't
so.
go to recycling? Where do we get more?
No, yeah, anything sells.
Michigan's recycle, they do that now,
I mean, it's some,
and he's a little higher.
Probably
than
nothing.
Louis.
Is there any
maybe a
copper in it or?
radiator. I
Okay.
mean, there's a couple big batteries in there if anybody needs big batteries. Do you use them anywhere? The big ones? I don't know.
Okay.
Probably
I
get
don't
the best.
know.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
guessing.
I was trying to think too, but unless somebody wanted to take a copper
Unless
wire out of it
you
or
loaded
whatever,
himself.
but I can't do
You
all
don't have
that.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
we have-
can't.
Don't waste your time.
Definitely can't do any of that. Otherwise, that's about it really.
Shell, I wanted to ask you on the page on phosphorus,
Sure.
why, I mean, it's high in January, February, March. I guess I was wondering about that. Then it goes down in April.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
steadily goes up. And then this September, it's higher than it's been the last
Yeah.
almost 2 years.
It's weird.
What is that?
Well, that's lawn fertilizer, isn't it?
Well,
Good
yeah, a
percentage.
lot of fertilizers, vegetables, a lot of things can make your phos go up. It just depends. That's why we use ferric to take that phos and hold it and drop it in my clarifiers.
Okay.
But I do have one clarifier that is down. So more than likely, that's
Part
probably
of
what it is that.
Well, I was thinking about lawn fertilizer too, but we didn't get much rain this summer for it to wash off lawns and get into the gutters, to get into the system, to get to the plant. I mean, maybe that's not how it works, but I was thinking, oh, lawn fertilizers. But
There's phos in a lot of stuff that nobody even thinks of. There's just
Phosphorus
lots
in
of
milk.
it. I'm surprised the CBOD wasn't high. There's a lot of stuff. That's one thing with that, with phos, you can't see it. You can't see it coming in. You
okay.
can only do tests to test it.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I was just
hopefully it'll
curious.
go-
Yeah.
It should go down again though.
Okay.
Pretty soon. Yeah.
You just see the numbers. I mean,
It's crazy, isn't it?
yeah, January, February, March, you'd think there shouldn't be any
Yeah.
around. If it's
Yeah.
coming off the ground.
Like April, yeah, it's so low in April.
Yeah,
And
like
then
what
it
happened
just
in April?
Steadily spring.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
It's a weird thing
Joe's
to have to
birthday.
deal with.
Yeah, that could be it. What do you guys dumping down the drain
Yeah,
over
what
there?
do you guys dumping?
Yeah, what? Tell us.
I
Oh, no, you're not telling us, are you? You're a chicken too.
And I did, Tony, did you do those?
Yes.
You did do
Yeah,
them?
get them tomorrow.
Thank you. I found a really good poster to hang around for what to flush and not, or just. as
Oh, good.
Flush. But I needed them to put the, the city of New River on the bottom because I didn't know how to do that, so.
Yeah.
To hang in a few places in town, just to remind everybody, it's getting full out there. A lot more is coming in daily. So whites are gonna kill us out there.
Mm.
And the pump that I pulled apart when we put in the new plug valve, it was completely full of wet wipes. So you've got, 2 chunks of, 5-foot pipe on each side and then 5 in the middle and 1 going straight up, and that whole thing was full.
Probably why it didn't work, huh?
Oh,
Yeah.
and I couldn't clean it until the valve got fixed. So when you pull them, you take off the caps and you pull this like solid ball out of there. That's for the suction. You pull it out and you just use like a stick and you just pull out wipes. That's all you do. So,
Why do manufacturers put disposable on them, flushable on them?
Not flushable.
none of those flushable wipes are flushable. Not on one of them
They
are.
got you to buy them, though, didn't they?
Yes,
Yeah,
they're right.
they do not dissolve. They do not dissolve.
Interesting.
Yeah, and when that system was put in, nobody really used anything like that.
Oh, sure,
So
right.
now, there are 3/4 inch bars, it's like this, and there's 3/4 inch, well, everything slides
Oh,
through,
God, goes right through.
everything. And the rake, it can catch whatever flows against it this way, yeah, you'll catch it. But anything that flows through this way, you won't.
Catch, okay.
So it's, something will need to get done with that, or you're just gonna have more pump problems.
Well, every city must be experiencing it.
Everybody.
I mean,
It's
every,
awful.
Yeah.
And we all go
The
crazy.
slugs and the snails down to
Yeah.
the wipes.
I know. See,
Yeah,
and then the waste.
what can we
and
put
then
down the
snails
sewer now?
stick to it,
or what can't we put down?
Were we gonna put that on the back of the water bill?
Yeah, but it might have gone, I haven't looked at all, I
Yeah.
can't remember recently, but
I
yeah.
don't
Bill
think,
it out of-
if I remember, I don't
We
remember.
might have done
seeing-
burning this time because,
I think you
Yeah,
did.
you did burn.
well, hopefully those flyers that Shelby sent to me should help some.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can hang them up around town and
Yeah.
see if.
We
they're-
can actually, I can have just Sarah fold one of those flyers up in the next set of water bills that we send out.
That'd probably be better.
Put it on the website.
I was gonna say, I wonder if you start with maybe sending a letter to daycares, but hate to,
Can we put it in the paper? I bet Eli would print it, wouldn't he?
I don't know.
people
Yeah, he
don't
would.
read
It's
it.
public service.
Yeah, we'll figure it
Yeah.
out, but yeah, well, I'll get those to Shell and we'll hang them up and then
Yeah.
the next water bill we send out, I'll just have Sarah put a second piece of paper in there.
And then for future, if, without having to tear that system out of there are parts that you could add to that to help catch
Okay.
what's going through. Because you need,
Smaller
skinnier
slits.
bars
Skinnier
or a
slits.
set of 2 or, to save on, it's just gonna save your pumps in the long run.
Can you put together a recommendation for the council with
I
some
can have
costs?
the engineer do that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Bring it next time.
because he'd make it sound really nice instead of telling us it.
Oh, your reports are
I'm
nice.
not too professional on that. But yeah, it would definitely help and it will save on your plant life out there,
Why don't you
for sure.
have something put together then?
So
And make your life easier too.
Yeah.
Then you're not trying to.
it's
fix
just
them.
sad to see, that stuff go down a sewer system and where it ends up. And it's just sad to see your pumps, when you're fighting your pumps every day and it's hard on them. They can't
Mhm.
take that.
No.
Yeah.
And they're
let's-
expensive, so it's,
Almost need a grinder, different
if
system.
you had a grinder in there or that, any of those to get that stuff
A
ground
shredder.
up before it even goes through.
I think those are some things that we ought to really pursue.
Yeah, there's a
cost-wise.
lot of a lot of the plants will have that, and yeah, it'll grind it into like fluff, like all that paper. I mean, some of them still get through, but most of them, it just shreds them into nothing.
Okay.
But it saves on your, and you can tell those plants run a lot better, you know, because you don't got all that extra stuff.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Well, we need to protect what we have, so.
Yeah, it'll, you know, if you do update that part of it, you know, your lift pumps come next, and there's 4 in there. Them are big pumps. And I've already had one pulled because there was bags in it, so. And when they go out, I mean, they go out. You can't just,
What
You
kind
know.
of bags?
the plastic
Grocery
bags
bags?
go
Grocery
through all the
bags.
time. Garbage bags,
How?
plastic bags, wipes, underwear,
Underwear?
condoms. Yeah, that was last week.
God, people.
Everything under the sun goes through there. So when you have all of that go through and your bar screen just can't catch all that, so it goes through and it ends up in your lift pumps.
Okay.
The lift pump, it'll spin it through, but a lot of that still gets
Goes
around the
past,
lift
yeah.
pump, and then it hits everything.
These have to be things that are flushed.
Everything in there is flushed.
I know.
Cigarette butts, coffee grounds, meat. That one chunk of meat was 19 inches long. It was a skin. So I don't know where that came from, but 19-inch piece. I took pictures of it. It was 19 inches.
God.
Skin and fat. There was a chunk of fat as big as my foot. So
No.
Probably somebody doing it at home.
yeah, I asked them if they knew what animal it was. So yeah. So
All they would
there's
use is the fuller drain, I mean.
yeah,
Just
he's
wash
got
it
his
with-
screens on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, see what you can come up with for some of these improvements, I think.
At least it would save on a lot of your
Yes,
pumps out there.
yes.
Right.
Because that'll get expensive one day.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions for?
No.
Anything else?
Move to approve the people
Second.
service report.
Motion by Lauren, seconded by Chad to approve the people service report. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Huh?
If you want to stop in tomorrow, I'll-
Sure. Thank you for doing that for me. All right. See you guys.
Good night.
I'll
Good night.
Right away from the nursing home. Where some of it comes from.
Yeah, I see some of your guys'
I
stuff.
took a ball of wipes,
Oh.
the size of a basketball, out of a small pipe leading out to the city street.
Oh, no.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I never thought about the kerosene.
No,
Maybe
yeah.
that's
I didn't
something you
either.
could help us with.
I get booties.
Yeah, good, thanks for doing
Yeah,
that.
I get
Booties.
booties, gloves, a lot of masks. People flush a lot of masks.
Yeah.
That's from the whole town.
Yep.
But yeah, I usually know where it comes from, which
Yeah.
place.
How can people think those masks are biodegradable? Like,
They don't care.
they think that's
Well,
what it is?
That's.
I think a lot of
nobody
it,
cares
is
about
people just
anything
don't
anymore.
care.
Put a wastebasket in your bathroom and throw the stuff in that. Maybe we should give away wastebaskets.
We still got a lot of Home Depot buckets we could get,
Yeah.
went out to every house.
Good idea.
Where did those all come from?
Oh, that was some program that somebody was trying to start.
Clean your gutters, wasn't
Clean
it?
your drain or
Adopt the
something.
drain.
Adopt the drain.
Yeah. That's been 2-3 years ago. That was the last mayor.
That's- All right, let's move along here. Water and Street. Hi, Eric.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
What you got for us?
Finally completed all the signs. I think I have 2 left, actually. I gave them the wrong, what was it, Avenue and the supposed to be
Yeah,
street or something.
vice versa, I think it's vice versa.
Yeah, nothing major.
You know-
We made a mistake.
Did those get all purchased by the one person? Do you know? Remember?
The old signs?
All the signs?
The old signs?
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know a whole lot. They all went through the site, so I have no idea.
I think there was a person buying them and reselling them. I wanted my street. I went on there the other day and there was 2 signs. And that's it.
Yeah.
Are all of them through there now, or?
There's one on right now.
Okay.
So, and then there's the last ones.
Second Street, I believe it was. And then no parking one. All right,
We did really good on some and
Really bad.
really bad on some.
So to me, it kind of equaled out. Legion Field shut down, St. Lake shut down. We ended up painting the outside of the skating rink, which I think really improved it. It's not gonna rot out anymore, I don't think anymore. So, then on the 7th, I had kind of a bad day. Water plant, we have a huge water plant. I don't know if anyone's ever been in there. You have. Chad maybe has.
I've been,
There's a hole about this size, in the bottom, very bottom. So we had to drain out the filter and have it welded. And that had happened 20 years ago also. So just gotta keep an eye on it.
Well, and you said that they had poured cement in the bottom there, so somehow water leaked through that cement and got to the outside of that and rusted or put a hole through it.
Oh, God.
So,
what was the purpose of the cement?
They filled the whole bottom with cement and just raised the level because the bottom of it was rusting out. So that way they thought it basically put a new floor in the bottom of it.
that's the iron filter, right?
Yeah.
What would it cost to replace that? A lot.
250,000.
How much?
250,000.
Get out of town.
And it's one of those things where
I'm
I think it has to come in pieces and it's gotta be welded in place because I don't know how else you could get it in there.
Wow.
So,
Why does everything cost so much?
but I just wanna
No, it's not.
I just wanna say that Waldorf Welding was amazing. They were here almost right away and they did a dang good job. And thank you to them for being here that day.
Yeah. I've heard really good things about them for all different kinds of welding, brazing.
They did a great job.
Yeah, they do a great job.
Did it dry up underneath there now?
Yep, yeah, good, we're good to go. So that was that day.
There'll be more.
I know. I'm thinking we're gonna start probably on leaves this week.
I see it's down at Budar's.
Well, this had some welding done on it.
Will you let Sarah and I know so we put that on Facebook as soon as you know when you're gonna do that?
Alright, sounds good. Then just kind of getting ready for snow removal or snow equipment ready. I don't know, no one wants to talk about that.
No.
Well, last week was our real.
Almost.
eye-opener.
Yeah, it almost started.
Salt sand.
How much you need,
Salt sand?
you think?
All depends on the year.
Yeah.
I know, that's it, like last year, we really didn't use much.
We got some left yet?
I have enough probably to fill the truck one more time.
So what does it take, let's just say, either an ice storm or a snowstorm to do what you do? Like a couple trucks?
No,
Do the city in one day, or one truckload?
no, it's half a load maybe,
Oh,
half a load.
okay.
Yeah.
So if we have what, 7 snowstorms? I don't know, I'm guessing.
We don't do, like what the county does where they
Yeah,
sand over hills, under hills and stuff. We just do right.
intersection, stop signs,
And that's it.
around the school. Okay.
Well, if I read this right, 15 yards per truckload, is that what that means?
Yeah, he's got 2 trucks that he'd deliver it to, and one is 15-yard truck and the other one is 12.5.
Okay, well, 15 yards at 91 per yard is $1,365. That went up.
Yes, it did. Last year it was 71, I think.
Yeah.
And I thought last year was at
So there you are, $1,365 per 15 yards. And you think we got one load?
One blue truckload, you're saying,
Mhm.
not one, just.
How many yards is our blue truck?
Probably 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7 or 8.
maybe 7 or 8.
So we might get
Two
2 of
snowstorms.
ours. All right. Up to you.
I'll make a motion to approve $13.69, 65 for a load of sand, salt,
One load,
one load for now, right?
15 yards, okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Chad, seconded by Lauren to approve the purchase of 115-yard load of sand and salt.
Yes, I have a question. Can we get a guarantee on that? Like if we want to order some in January or December, that we'll get the same price?
Probably not.
So I can find that out tomorrow.
Okay. I mean, just the way things go up, I don't think we can expect it to go down.
Depends on how much they have to pay.
If they got any, yeah.
Yeah, if they have it.
Yeah, better, what do we
To
have?
come from Waseca?
No, this comes out of Locums.
Oh,
So he actually mixes it himself too, which saves us a little bit.
Okay.
of money too.
good. All
I
right.
think last time, one load we got out of Glenville and it was all froze.
Oh.
Doesn't go through the truck very well when it's
No.
froze.
No, that doesn't seem like it would work very well.
That was a pain.
Okay, any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay,
Have they started on the ball fields yet?
Sounds like,
Backstop?
sounds like it won't happen until after the spring.
Oh, okay.
after spring?
Yeah, nobody had, Karen fences booked out through like June of next year,
Oh, my God.
so, yeah. So unfortunately, no.
I have a question for you, Eric. Where are you at with your water license?
I haven't even went at it yet. I gotta remember my dates.
Because will that affect pay equity points,
Well, yeah, I mean,
or is it already on there?
well, he would be paid based on, if he doesn't meet all those requirements, then we pay,
Yeah,
so.
well,
Yeah, we've talked, he's
okay.
aware of it.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
It's working out well with Heartland, though, right, Andy?
Mhm.
I'm pushing him, he doesn't like me, but I'm pushing him.
Well, I just remembered there was a discussion as to bumping him up a grade
Oh,
once
yeah,
he got it.
Yeah.
And so that's why if we're doing this new pay equity scale, where is
Yeah.
that?
That's a good point.
Looks like you need a new mower.
I have that in there. Tony and I haven't really got we haven't got everything put together yet.
Oops,
Okay.
It's, what's that?
Hoops Saturday group.
Yeah.
Yeah. We think there's potentially a way to get rid of the two tractors, the honey wagon, the mower, and come out with a skid steer with a blower and a brand new mower.
Nice.
So that's kind of the hope. And if we can do that for absolutely
Break
pretty much
even?
break even,
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're hoping.
That'd be nice.
So.
I don't think you're geniuses if you do that.
And the reason why, and we've got Shell's blessing too, because we can hire Hollins or somebody to come in one day and do what she takes 2 weeks to
Okay.
do, you know? So I mean, we don't have to maintain a tractor, we don't have to maintain Honeywell, we don't have to maintain any of that stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so
That'd be great.
that's kind of what
We're working on. But no one's good bids out right now because the future's bringing, so.
Did you check the dump out today?
I didn't work today.
Oh.
I just got home from.
Yeah.
Up the cabin.
Is Braden working?
Yeah, he went home sick today though early, so.
Because his grandpa died.
Yeah.
Well, that's not how he went home, but yes.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
it's
yeah,
leaves.
it's pretty full.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's full.
it's pretty full. You need to be out there. Somebody needs to go out.
Tractor's back, so that was gonna be my first thing.
Yeah, it was funny watching it. I took some out on Saturday and Sunday,
I
and
had to wait in line.
every time I went out there,
You
it was.
did?
You what?
I had to wait in line. There were 3 trucks backed up and I pulled out and I had to wait till somebody moved.
Oh, it
until I
was-
sat down.
It was constant.
Yeah,
So it's out there pretty far.
yeah, it's out there pretty far. I was out there yesterday afternoon. I didn't have to wait in line, but just as I was pulling in, somebody was leaving, so I didn't have to wait. But there were people out there dumping. Yeah, it's pretty far out.
I've seen them coming up the driveway.
Oh. Yeah, well, everybody wants to get it done.
Not that bad.
It's hard to turn around out there. You know, if you have a pickup, it's fine, but like I had our Ranger in a trailer, And there's just no place to, I wish there was a loop somehow.
Even if you did that though, somebody dump it on the.
They
wrong
would.
Yeah,
spot.
they would. They'd dump it in the wrong spot and say, well, this is part of the landfill. It looks good here.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
'tis the season.
Well, we're glad people take it there.
Anything else for Eric?
I make a motion to accept the street department report.
Okay,
I'll second.
motion by Chad, seconded by Jody to approve the water and street department report. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
See you in the morning.
Unfinished business logo contest.
So these are the final results as voted by the group. This was number 1.
Mm-hmm.
This was number 2. This is number 3. This is number 4. And this is number 5.
Is there another one after that? Yeah, I
So, okay, so-
never saw that.
Okay, well, here's the deal. So these 5 are the only ones that we can award the logo contest to because they were part of the contest.
Okay.
So, part of the contest was we don't have to use the logo. We can modify the logo anything we want to, but since we did have a contest, we do have to award it. So your job tonight is to award 1, 2, 3, or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 the winner. I think the city staff has been talking and through this process the whole time, and we like bits and pieces of things, and so it's kind of just been a conglomeration. So the last couple of weeks, I've been working and putting stuff together, and so this is kind of the logo that's been approved by the city staff that we would like to present also as well as a potential new. And the thought process behind that is the creek running through town and then acknowledging the farmland of our community. So just nothing has to be done with that. We need to do the logo contest winner tonight, but that was just a thought for you guys to chew on if that was something that you were interested in. So.
Well, it's hard to pick one for logo purposes because you have to scale it down so far that you want it to not look like a blob either.
Right.
I'm afraid that one might look like a blob with the crick and the corn.
Well, I've already messed around with a few different places and I don't think it's that awful.
It's not bad.
So this is going like letterhead.
I see it on the city trucks. I see it on the sign in the park that we absolutely need to be replaced. Yeah.
Well,
I like this
I
one
like
better.
this one.
I
but
do too. I like that one
The
better
thing
than
is,
the other one.
I'd like to see it just without the corn,
Me too.
or if you're gonna leave the corn, put a pig on it because of all the hog farmers recognizing
Yeah,
them. But
we can take this one out.
I think.
yeah, I think take
needs
the
to
corn
come
out, and then I like it just like that.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'll bring it, my goal is that it's approved by at least the meeting in December, so that on January 1st,
Yep.
anything that's marketed with New Richland or any of the documents, anything, the stuff is all taken care of, so. But we do need to award a winner on the local contest, so.
That's a tough one.
The recommendation from the group that scored them was this one and then this one.
Well, I think we should go with the committee. They
They're
did
the
all the
ones
work.
that did all the work.
They did the work. They made the comments.
I got no problem with it.
Somebody care to make a motion to do that then?
So move.
Second.
To award logo number 1 as the contest winner?
Yes.
It's clean.
That's why this one looks so good too.
Yeah.
All right. Was there a motion a second?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, I'll close that out and then I will make a couple modifications to this one and then I'll just keep it on the agenda for future conversation.
Perfect.
Okay, new business, ambulance director.
Oh, we need to go to financials.
Yeah.
Jody had a
I had a
question.
question on the.
Good night, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah, let me get back to you.
Eric.
I'm still concerned about the ambulance revenue,
Yeah, me too.
seeing that, we collected $1,749 in the month of September, but we're still way, way behind. Do they ever give you an aging report to say, okay, this one's been out 30 days, 60 days, 90 days?
I have not seen a report, but I have not asked for.
Would they be,
I think they're supposed to provide us with one.
it'd be nice to have that, to see where we're sitting,
I think this guy.
because,
You would?
yeah.
This is not acceptable. My gosh, our runs are we ahead of last year?
I think we are.
22 or something. What did she report last month?
We're at
Last 2 weeks ago.
something.
Yeah, and we were
22 ahead.
two for the year, two something. for the
Yeah.
year.
If
This
you even
is-
take an average run,
This is awful.
I can go low of 500. If you had 100 runs, that's $50,000. We don't even have that yet,
No,
and, when we budgeted for 150,000,
we're not gonna make
You
it.
guys you guys have been struggling getting Medicare payments and stuff too, right?
Medicare payments are always 2 months behind.
okay, I just see. but-
Well, we're in
That's
month
always-
10.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
not-
Yeah, we've been doing this in the spring.
And that $1,749 looks like, that might be like
That could be
Maybe-
one.
one run or two.
It's probably not one, it's
two or
probably
three.
multiple. The problem is
Yeah.
you get bits and pieces and then like these, I didn't know this until just last week because Sarah told me, but these insurance companies will send this letter to you and say, we don't like what you charge, so how about we pay you this instead? Well, then you have to sign that form and say no and give them a reason why, and then you gotta send it back to them. Well, then it goes back into their system.
but
and then
that's
they
what
sort it out.
that-
Isn't
companies
that,
was
yeah,
supposed
isn't
to
that
do.
their responsibility to make sure?
Anything that we're collecting prior to them doing that, we have to still take care of it.
Why are we collecting prior to them?
I don't know what the agreement was set up with them, so I.
Everything is supposed to go through them.
No,
Everything.
because the collections that Sarah's already started through our account through the state, they can't do that for us. That stuff all still comes to us. So until that bridges the gap where everything moved over, then there's still some time that's involved with her dealing with that.
Yeah, because it's existing.
All right.
Right.
But still, we should have more in the account than,
Totally.
I mean, that
I
was
can
10, 11 months
gladly
ago.
put him on the agenda for the next meeting.
Put
and
him
ask
on the
to-
agenda
to
and-
come.
Yeah,
I don't
we've
want
already
him
had
to do
it
a
here
Zoom either. I
once.
want him here.
Yeah, I don't want this on.
we've already
Yeah.
confronted him with it before.
Yeah.
And where's the reports? We're getting nothing. Yeah, you get him on there.
Yep, I will put him on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
Is that the only question you had, Jody?
Basically, yeah, that was the one that really kind of stuck out, but I could see that.
Then we will need a motion to just approve the financial.
I just have one question.
Yep.
And this, I mean, it shouldn't hold us up any, but on mayor and council, looks like operating expense is $1,500 this year?
Yeah, that was a lot of the recording stuff and the equipment that we approved to get through the stuff. So
All right.
we're a little over budget there, but we'll be under budget on some other areas. Yeah, that was the camera and the other things that we did.
Okay. Motion-
Move to approve the financials.
I'll second.
Motion by Lauren, seconded by Jody to approve the September financials. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, now we can go to new business, ambulance director salary.
Yeah, after last meeting, I kind of wanted to bring this up, we need to at least discuss her salary, because I guess she did have a review. I don't remember, again, I do not remember doing a review in March, but I guess we did.
Yeah, I remember we did.
I don't,
And she's asked a few times.
okay, well,
She's asked a few times about
yeah.
what have we decided.
So you and Lauren did the review, or you and Jody?
Jody and Gail. did.
Yeah, I wasn't on the personnel committee then.
You don't remember doing
I
it?
do not remember doing it.
I remember it
There
happening.
should be
'cause I was-
documentation,
I have not found a thing.
because Michelle would have been here, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I remember she sat in on it.
That I don't remember.
No, that, yeah, okay, well, maybe, yeah. All right.
Well,
My, you guys can do what you would like to do. My recommendation would be to look at since the ambulance director position is included in that compensation study, based on the amount of stuff that they do, it'll give you kind of an idea of where they believe that position should be, should it be a full-time position.
Okay.
And I think that was 21 something an hour or something like that.
to be full-time?
A full-time position, yeah. That's what it would be if it was a full-time position.
Oh,
So that's all I'm saying is that,
About how many hours does she put in a month?
between 60 and 70 as the director.
I think that's what
In a
we had
month?
set, 60 hours a month.
And I believe that if you were to raise her salary and ask her to back off the hours, I think she would be fine with that as well. Like if you said, here's what the new salary is, but we only want you to put in 50 hours or 55 hours.
Well, she's not getting paid by the hour, she's getting paid that flat
Yeah,
monthly salary, right?
right.
No, she's getting paid hourly based on.
That's not what was agreed to.
No, no.
She was supposed to get a flat rate, and it was
I could've just-
outlined around 60 hours a month.
So she's been getting paid, if she works 54 hours, she only gets 54 hours, if she works 67, she gets 67. So,
Well, I guess I would recommend that before you approve any raise, you look at what kind of hours she's put in each month and gotten paid for. Fair enough?
Fair.
yeah, and I'm sorry, that was never passed along to me, that was what was happening.
That should have been documented too.
Well, it has to be in the minutes or of the meeting.
When was
this
that,
all
March?
about.
God.
No,
When she,
It would have been right after,
February, January?
yeah, it was right after.
but of the previous year, the spring or the summer, early fall, when she was hired
Right.
and we did the contract, so it would be like, I would say that,
2000?
yeah, 2000, September, October, maybe.
So what I will do prior to the next meeting is I will go back and look at, and I'll do the hours and show you what it is, and then you can. guys
Okay.
make a decision
Okay.
based on it.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
And I apologize, I just picked up the payroll from where it was before.
No, it's not on you.
All right. So do we need a motion to table that?
That was just a discussion item, I don't think you need to worry about
All right,
making a motion on it.
administrators report.
Hang on, let me get to it, because I have a lot of my last couple weeks. Met with Mark, David Drown, was able to meet with our new administrator at the Theater Center and the poor Bemidji Beavers fan that left us, last week. He got proud Beavers. Participated in some of the League of Minnesota Cities fall forums. They had some pretty good courses on HR and benefits and some other stuff. And so as I've been able to, I've attended those. They're online, so I can work on that. Filed September sales tax, still working on the water and sewer budgets. Those should be available for you guys at the next meeting. Staff and I continue to work on the 5-year capital plan. I'm hoping that will also be available at the next meeting. Putting the final touches on those PTO, and I know we haven't talked about them for a very, very long time, but the PTO transition documents and the employee policy manual documents. And hopefully I'll have those for you as well in November. I'm gonna try not to give you too much at one meeting. We'll try to break them up a little bit. Just a reminder, election day, November 8th. So we'll be busy here from 7 in the morning till 8 p.m. Tomorrow, the League of Minnesota Cities Loss Control Group will be here for a meeting on loss control. Also, City Hall will be closed tomorrow from 9 to, I hope no longer than 11 for Sarah and I to go to election training on the new poll pads. And then birthdays and anniversaries, Shelby Preeve on the ambulance, October 26th. Anniversary is Don Tangen's a year on the ambulance. Denise Brewer's been with the department for 4 years in the police department. Andy Buckmeyer, 15 years in the fire department.
Nice.
I thought there was one other thing, but now I can't think of it.
The police cars are working fine.
They're running. Oh, I know what to say. The final journal entries from 2021 audit have been in and inputted and taken care of. So 2021 has been closed out officially of our books.
Yeah, ooh,
Nightmare.
gosh.
So, and it actually was, so I did one set of journal entries and everything went through, and then I did the second set of journal entries and hit post, and it said, and so I called and showed him to Lane, and Lane's like, oops, I made a mistake, and he fixed two things. And
Oh.
fine.
Perfect.
So we're good, we're closed out on that, and
That's good.
Were you finished?
Yeah.
I should have brought this up when we were looking at the financials, but I do have a quick question. I noticed, I don't know how the workman's comp and the property and liability insurance is getting split anymore, because there's a lot of zeros in there.
October,
Is it October?
yes, that's why you're not seeing anything.
All right, couldn't remember.
Yeah, so we just,
But the property and liability is May.
so what happened is we double paid in 2021 for 2022. And so we did not make a payment this year for property and casualty because that was already paid for twice.
All right.
Boy, things were running smoothly. weren't they?
Yes, and I
Maybe it was cheaper than they just made a double payment.
so if you think about it, whatever you have in property and casualty for 2022 is gonna be just written into the general fund budget at the end of the year. So, but no, workers' comp, I actually just received a bill for workers. So basically with workers' comp, they give you a projection for the next year, you pay that, and then at the end of the year, they do an audit, and then you pay
Yep.
the remaining.
Or they give you credit.
Yeah, I think, well, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, then I know.
But so I think we just got ours back, and I wanna say it was like a whopping like $600 or $700 or something that we had to catch back up between all the departments. And then I just renewed our workers' comp. It had to be done by October 15th, and so that just went to the league, so I'm assuming that it will either get the bill for that this month or November.
Now, those projections will probably be off because. of
Well,
this.
there's already an increase built in for all that other stuff, so law enforcement went up, like it did last year.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Anything else?
So Tony, I think on the back here, shouldn't this say November 7th?
well, probably. Yeah, I apologize.
He didn't switch the calendar.
I didn't switch the calendar over here either.
Oh,
Even though
you're
I
gonna,
can't
pretty soon
see
you're
the
gonna be too
dates
much
on it.
behind.
Yeah,
I like the bigger one better.
He doesn't want to go to November.
So,
Yes.
and then just a quick, I think I told you that, but water and sewer and capital plans, we'll try to get through them. And then those employee manuals, and then I made notes on the conversation that Shell was having about the sewer, that muffin monster.
Well,
Yeah.
we never did have a 2022 water sewer budget.
Right,
We never did get one because we were waiting.
right. So,
So this will be fun.
well, I don't know about.
Is that how
fun.
you're describing
I don't
it?
know about fun, but it'll get done.
Fun. Well, you better bring
And-
some
and that
candy or
is-
something.
That is tough too, because when I look at our fund accounting system, I have no idea. All I can see is revenue and expenditures, and I don't have a budget, so I don't know where we're at.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll
So,
kind of have to guestimate for a year or two, just until.
Yeah, and we're gonna plan heavy on the capital side.
Yeah. Which we should do.
yeah, we were trying to.
So I think Sarah, Joe, and I figured out that for every dollar or something like that, it's like 15,000 in capital or something like that. Can't remember. For a bill. So I was thinking that like right now the water bill has like an 81-cent capital fee on it or something like that. So the water fund's actually in pretty good shape. So I'm thinking to bump that up to $1 and then to add like a $2 or $3 surcharge for capital on the sewer
Sure.
side.
Well, really, we need to do that because we don't have a lot of funds.
And we really can't use city funds to cover enterprise fund expenses. That has to kind of be its own
Okay,
deal.
yeah, well, that's a good idea.
Well, I tried to look at the expenses and the revenue and make some sense out of it, but you're right, without a budget, it's
Yeah,
numbers.
the money that we took in this year could be 20% higher than we would have anticipated, we don't know.
Right.
Or our expenses could be way out.
Yeah, could be way out of whack.
Anything
Okay.
else?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Lauren, seconded by Chad to adjourn. Any other discussion?
Can't discuss that motion. Oh, you can.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I don't really care, Lauren. I'm not gonna be here long.
Oh, don't be so feisty.
Tony
Came
knows
back-
why I'm feisty.
You just came back from vacation.